What is going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Running Gold Standard podcast. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts Matt Llewellyn and Mike Andrews of Nothing But Niners. We got a great show planned for you guys tonight. We will be recapping the 49ers 30-24 win versus the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Things got a little hairy at the end, but the 49ers luckily took care of business. This will be our Halloween show since Halloween is just in a few hours. So happy Halloween to everyone out there. Hope you have a safe and happy and fun Halloween. Before I toss over to the guys, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit like and subscribe to Nothing But Niners and 49ers Hive. If you're watching on X, make sure you like and repost the stream and follow all of our individual accounts that are listed on the screen. Now that I got that out of the way, Matt, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, Zach. Good to be here after a win, going into the bye week. So 49ers are in a decent spot to come out and have a really good second half. So I'm anxious to talk about this game.
Yeah, man, it was close. Mike, how you doing tonight?
I am well. It has been a very interesting week, but I'm excited about 49ers football. I'm actually excited about the break and what's to come after the break. But, one thing at a time, and we'll get through it all.
Yeah, man, it's funny. After the game, they asked DeAndre Lenore, how he felt about the bye week, and he's like, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't like it. And then he goes, but you know what? We are pretty beat up. I guess we could use it to get healthy, so we'll take advantage of it and we'll go forward. This game, man, I honestly saw the way it was going, and I got a little nervous because we've seen this script before. We've seen the 49ers do exactly what could have happened Sunday night, and luckily it did. But let's start from the beginning. Obviously, they had the relatively slow start. Dallas Cowboys elect to get the ball first. That's like a galaxy brain Mike McCarthy move. They go 5 plays, 16 yards and punt. And then the 49ers get the ball, 7 plays, 55 yards, and end up settling for a 50-yard field goal, which shout out to Anders Carlson because he made it. I'm knocking on wood here as I'm saying that. Made it from 50 yards straight down the middle. Was a great kicker Sunday night. A lot of people were questioning the 3rd and 10, handoff play to Jordan Mason. Matt, in the group chat, though, you said it looks like Purdy checked into that and canceled the play and called a run instead. Is that correct?
I mean, he absolutely did. He canned the play, and then they ran something different. So, I mean, I don't know how anybody could see it any other way than that. He literally said can, and then went to the run. So anybody who thinks that was anything other than that, I don't know what they were watching. But, yeah, and, maybe that's just the thing that Kyle and Brock were, I don't know, in on. Or, like, if you told me Kyle told him, hey, check more plays if you don't like it, like, just to get back at the reporters, I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it seems like something Kyle would do.
Speaking of something Kyle would do, another Kyle Juszczyk. I don't know if you guys saw today on X. Found a post of him.
The overpaid.
Yeah, how good he was playing and all these good clips. And he quoted it and said, overpaid fullback or something like that. Because we all know Grant Cohn all offseason was campaigning for Juice to be cut because he's overpaid. What does exactly Juice do? So this team can be petty at times, and it is kind of funny. Do you guys think there was maybe like a discussion where we're comfortable with Anders from just about 50 yards? So, you know what, Purdy, don't risk it. If you see, a defense you don't like, you don't think you're going to get much, just play it safe, hand off the ball, get a couple of yards safely, and we'll kick it from here. Do you guys think that was the case, or do you think Purdy genuinely saw like an opening in the middle that maybe they could pick up 10 on the ground? Because more often than not, you're not getting 10 yards on a handoff.
I think it's more likely that he just saw a coverage that he knew like this play is not going to be successful against. And so it's like, let's just check into the run. We're where we need to be. And like, let's just live to fight another down. He talked about being, more aggressive in the second half. When you watch the post-game presser, he was talking about, like I had to like really get into my rhythm and like really just settle in and calm down and all that kind of stuff. And so maybe that was it. It's like he got a lot of scrutiny for all the interceptions last week. Maybe he saw a coverage that he was like, yeah, I'm not doing this again. This is a familiar look. I remember it. So let's just check out of it and be safe.
Good point. Okay, so they start off with a 3-0 lead, and then the very next drive, the Cowboys go 5 plays, and on 1st and 10 from just about midfield, the 49ers 45, so just across midfield, Dak drops back on 1st and 10, like I said, gets pressured by Bosa, throws a stupid deep pass into double coverage, and it gets picked off by Jair Brown.
Jersey.
I mean, these are the plays that don't show up on the stat sheet that Nick Bosa makes repeatedly. So when people want to shout at him, oh, he only got 4.5 sacks on the year. He's a bum. He's having a down year. These are the type of plays that are game changers. I mean, without that pressure, maybe it's a completion at the very worst, probably an incompletion. But Dak's not able to step into it. He's not able to set his feet. He's throwing that as he's getting hit, getting pushed back. So I just wanted to make note of that because people are very hard on Bosa this year, but these are the exact plays that he's making that alter the course of the game. It was 3-0, 49ers get an interception. It was essentially like a big punt on first down. Unfortunately, they couldn't do much with it. They go 5 plays, 26 yards. And on 3rd and 6, Purdy's pass for Kittle's incomplete. So they punt. And I believe this is where D. Winters gets hurt. I could be wrong. Maybe it was later. They get a 13-yard, return by Kevontae Turpin. And then they proceed to go 11 plays, 65 yards. This drive made me a little nervous. 11 plays, 65 yards, ends in a touchdown. The run game was going. Zeke looked like old Zeke. They were getting, 11-yard runs, 6-yard runs, 7-yard runs. Bosa had a sack, but, it was kind of like, eh. And sure enough, Charvarius Ward is lined up on Schoonmaker in the end zone. Schoonmaker's like 6'6", and Charvarius Ward's bear hugging him from behind. Mm-hmm. And he gets the PI in the end zone, so it's 1st and goal at the 1. 1 play later, Zeke punches it in. What were your guys' thoughts on the defense for this drive? Were you thinking, oh boy, here we go? Or was it more like, well, they were bound to get one? How are you feeling after this?
So I know, like, during the live, we're watching it, and I was like, oh, man, this is not good. Now, I want to remind you guys that I'm very superstitious. Not only was my mom here, who I don't usually let come in during Cowboy games, she was here the whole time. So was our friend Erica, and she's also a Cowboys fan. So I'm in the middle of a Cowboys fan. I don't have the hookah going because my mom is like super duper allergy woman, like, bad asthma and stuff like that. So I don't want to put smoke in the air, and like I don't have like my oral fixation. I have the hookah, so I chew the inside of my mouth. So, like, I am a nervous wreck. I'm over here chewing and spitting, and, like, it's the worst thing ever. Like, I don't have my hookah, and I didn't want to drink too much because I didn't want to get drunk so early in the game. But I was like, this just doesn't feel right. And then I'm trying to, I'm on with Tony. Mike Ing is on with us on the Patreon. And I'm like, guys, don't panic. It's okay. Like, they were going to score once. We weren't expecting a shutout. Like, let's not panic. It's just one. It's just one. It's a bad drive. We're going to adjust. We'll get back into it. But I felt the way that they felt. I was just trying to, like, be, like, logical in that moment. But, man, emotions were high. And, yes, I did say oral fixation. Yes.
Yeah, it was a tough one. Zeke looked like old Zeke, like I said. But I still had faith in the Niners. I figured they're going to give up at least 1 or 2 touchdowns here. They get the ball back, and Purdy hits Debo 66 yards for a touchdown that gets nullified by a holding penalty on Eric Saubert, which I think was kind of a soft call, if I remember correctly. There were a ton that went against the 49ers in this first half.
The Saubert one was legit.
Okay, all right. I know one was legit. I couldn't remember which one.
No, he held the hell out of
the Saubert one. He was like essentially like hugging his ass.
Got it.
And even when the guy got past him, he still didn't let go. I'm like, and I don't know if that was because of super slow motion or what, but I was like, dude, like, get off of him. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So unfortunately, that got called back. So then it's 1st and 20 from the 49ers 24. Purdy hit Pearsall for 11 yards. 2nd and 9, 2-yard run. 3rd and 7, 13-yard pass to Pearsall, which, by the way, we'll talk about later, looked good in this game. 2nd and 5, 1-yard run. 3rd and 4, 1-yard run. And then it's 4th and 3, and Purdy has Debo wide open coming across the middle on a crosser route, and he throws it behind him enough to where maybe it should have still been caught. It did hit Debo on both hands, but it's behind him. And the 49ers, he can't complete the pass, goes incomplete, turnover on downs.
It hit one hand. It didn't hit both hands.
Okay, I knew it hit one at least. So it was a bad pass. People
That's
wanted to put
one
on
where
Debo.
I think that the blanket phrase, if it hits your hands, you need to catch it, I think is a little bit silly. That pass was clearly a bad ball. It was behind Debo. He's running full speed and then has to like turn his body while running full speed, trying to like ideally does Debo catch that? Yeah, because that would be nice, right? But like that wasn't Debo's fault at all.
Right. Agreed. And this is something with Purdy. We even saw this 3 weeks ago or however long it was in Seattle on a third down as well, where he threw it on the first third down of the game and Debo, bailed him out by like a high catch behind his head. These crossing routes, sometimes, I don't know if it's the nerves, I don't know what it is, but he seems to throw behind and high. Luckily, it just fell incomplete, wasn't turned over. We got a super chat from our great guy, Great Fox 198. How about Isaac Raheem Gorendo Mostert? I still remember when Mike said back in 2018 that Mostert was amazing and he was averaging 6 yards per carry and he should get more.
Wow,
Damn,
good
shout out
callback,
to
Gray.
Mike in 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely shows flashes of that Mostert, especially with that 31 on. So the 49ers turn the ball over on downs on the Dallas 43. Dallas proceeds to go 8 plays, 46 yards for a field goal, and it's suddenly 10-3 with 2:56 left in the half. The 49ers get the ball back, and Isaac Gorendo, 19-yard run. Isaac Gorendo, 15-yard run, and then it's the 2-minute warning. Isaac Gorendo, another 19-yard run. I mean, we're talking about 53 yards in 3 plays. Unfortunately, the third run, there was a holding penalty on Kittle, which I thought was a little soft, but whatever.
So did Kittle.
Yeah, it's back to first and 20, excuse me, at the 49ers 21. Incomplete pass to Debo. Go ahead.
I was going to say, at that point, I thought Kyle was just going to fold on the drive. Like, he just was like, it's over. It seems like when there's a setback on first down, I feel like Kyle just gets discouraged. And he's like, whatever, next drive.
Agreed. Like we were going to see like 3 straight handoffs or something, but luckily we did it. First down, first and 20, incomplete pass, second and 20, Gorendo passed for 5 yards. If this is the one I'm remembering correctly, Purdy threw it kind of way in front of him, and Gorendo made a really good catch, kind of stumbling forward. Purdy puts it on him. He could probably catch and run for a few more. 3rd and 15, Purdy hits Kittle for 10 yards. Unfortunately, it's not enough to get the first, but 4th and 5 at the 26. That's close enough for a 44-yard field goal, which Carlson nails. It is 10-6. They trade punts going into halftime, and then end of half, 10-6. The 49ers get the ball, so the Cowboys elected to receive to start the game. And the opening play, well, before we get to the third quarter, what were your guys' thoughts at halftime? Were you thinking, damn, this is another close game? So I said in the group chat, this season, the 49ers haven't proven that they could kind of come back from an early deficit and, win the nitty-gritty ones. What were your guys' thoughts? Mike, we'll start with you.
Again, I was trying to stay calm because my mom was here. But the truth of the matter is, at halftime, one of the Cowboys fans left. My mom did stay. I know, like, at halftime, I was thinking, like, it's a one-possession game. Like, we're still in it. The Niners should make some adjustments. I hope they do. But based off of what I've seen this season, I just don't know that they can. But we should be able to depend on at least another Dak Prescott turnover. So hopefully they make the best of their opportunities. That was like my mindset going into the second half.
Right. Matt, how are you feeling at halftime?
It was one of those things where it was another sloppy first half. Again, I like every week I'm going into it thinking like they have to be due for one of these games where from beginning to the end of the game, they just play a clean game. And in this game, there were a lot of missed opportunities. Like you said, the hold that brought back the touchdown. Brock Purdy seemed a little bit off and pressing again as if he was trying to just throw everything onto his back and trying to do too much. And, it was more of the same. It was more of the same. So I was a little worried just from the standpoint that the 49ers were leaving too much on the table. And as we've seen before, if you let teams stay in games, it becomes a problem later down the stretch. And as we'll see later, the 49ers need every bit of leeway that they can get because, when they're out in front, it's no guarantee that they're going to stay out in front. So
that's the other thing I should say too, Matt, good point. I was really worried about Brock. Like we were expecting a bounce back game from Brock, right? Like he doesn't usually have 2 bad ones in a row, but this first half wasn't the best Brock Purdy. I don't know what the stats were at halftime.
So he was 10 of 16 for like 151 yards passing, which like on paper is fine. You're just like, all right, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But when you actually watch the game, you're just like, man, he's missing on some really like gimme type shit. And it was
and the one that you said that was on Brock for throwing it behind Debo.
Yeah,
like
3.
It was like come on, Brock, you knew what that call was. Like you should have thrown it to the spot and trusted
he knew he knew the call. There was no pressure on him. It was a clean pocket. Like the throw wasn't that far.
Yeah.
And
like Debo, he could have caught it, but like, come on, dude. Like you got it. This is fourth down here.
Again, could Debo have caught it? Yes, but like it's not on him that he didn't. Right. He had a drop later that was like explicitly on him on that tunnel screen where he was set up and it looked like 6 in front of him. And he just dropped it.
I think he got like wide-eyed. Like I think he knew.
Yeah, he started his eyes got too big for his stomach, and before he knew it, he just didn't get it. So
going into the third quarter, 10-6 is the score.
Well, wait, how'd you feel at halftime?
I felt nervous. I had texted the group chat, like I said, and I said, this is the type of game the 49ers need to prove they can win because they haven't done that. Their wins this year have been easy wins. The Seattle one was arguably the most difficult, and they withstood a late in the game surge from Seattle, but for most of the game they were leading. For all of the game they were leading. They never were down and had to come back. And this was kind of the knock on Kyle all of last season was, wow, like they never had to come back. And then, sure enough, in the playoffs, they come back versus Green Bay, they come back versus Detroit, and that kind of went away. But it was starting to come back in my mind, at least this year, because it's like, once they start off in a hole, it's very hard for them to dig themselves out. You look at Minnesota, you look at Kansas City. The other two you can't really look at because they blew those 2 losses. But when they are in a hole early on, it seems hard for them to climb out. But that wasn't the case Sunday night, luckily. So I was nervous, but I did have faith they would do it because it was still, at the end of the day, Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, and the fucking Dallas Cowboys. So to get the ball at the 40 because Brandon Aubrey's dumbass kicks it outside of the loading zone or whatever it's called. So it's a penalty.
It went out of bounds, right?
No. It bounced at like the 40 or the 30, whatever.
Brandon Aubrey does this thing where he tries to kick it so that it bounces early in the landing zone so that it takes funky bounces. Because if it lands in the landing zone, even if it goes out of bounds, I don't think it matters because it landed in the landing zone.
Oh, that's the other thing, too, I was going to say. The officials at halftime. I'm sorry. I know I'm going back a ways.
Oh.
The officiating, I was like, dude, like they've thrown more than both of these quarterbacks combined. Like it was just flag after flag after flag. I think the opening kickoff had a flag on it.
Well,
yes, it did.
It didn't hit the landing zone. Yeah.
No. The opening kickoff
of the game.
Opening kickoff was illegal formation on the Cowboys.
Yeah, like it was just.
When they called that and I saw Bill Vinovich's ass on screen, I was like, damn, dude, we're in it for the night. Because that dude, every time he officiates a 49ers game, that like laundry is going to fly like a washing machine exploded. Mm-hmm. It was
very frustrating. Also, Matt, you talked about Purdy's first half stats. If that Deebo Samuel touchdown doesn't get called back, he's like, what, 11
for 17 for like 220 and a touchdown. Yeah. And we're looking at it completely differently. But
right.
Again, those things matter when you don't have those plays.
So they start off at their own 40. Purdy scrambles for 9 yards, outruns Overshown and Kendricks. Dallas had too many men on the field. Penalty declined. Second and 10. Or excuse me, that was second and 10. On first down, Correndo run for no gain. 3rd and 1, Purdy sneaks it for the first down. 1st and 10, Purdy hits Kittle for 43 yards. And this was a dime on Kittle over the middle who ran down to the Dallas 4-yard line. And the very next play, Isaac Correndo punches it up the middle for a touchdown. Suddenly, the 49ers have a 13-10 lead. I could be wrong. Maybe we missed it. I wanted to talk about Chris Conley not getting set for a quarterback sneak, but maybe that was in the first half and I missed it. But that really bothered me.
That was in the first half, and that bothered me too because they were in bunch formation. And he actually did it again later in the game, but earlier when they got to the line. But he was like switching positions with Pearsall, and it wasn't a situation where Pearsall would have caused an illegal formation because he wasn't covering up a receiver. He was off the line of scrimmage, and Conley wanted to like trade him. But like who gives a fuck if
Right.
Pearsall's
It's a
standing
sneak.
there on a sneak? Like, who gives
Yeah.
a rat's ass? You
Yeah.
know, like technically, yeah, it's wrong, but like that wasn't the time, and
Right.
that's unforgivable to me for a vet like Conley, and it's why I kind of think like if you can get Pearsall more time and Cowing more time, the upside is there. What's the upside of Conley, right? Like, yeah, he'll make a good catch every now and again, but then he'll have some drops, or he'll have a penalty blocking, or he'll have like this penalty where it's just like, read the situation, man. Like, that's not the time and place to correct a player in the middle of, you know what I mean? It's like the Bears cornerback who was yapping at the fans instead of like playing the Hail Mary properly and boxing out.
And then the ball gets snapped, and he has the nerve to throw up his arms like he's annoyed. Conley, you were the one not even looking at the ball, trying to correct bro. Just like stand there.
Let him get set, man.
Yeah, that was frustrating. And for somebody who had that video go viral, I'm thinking from gosh, I'm forgetting his name. He was on KMBR for the longest time. Kruger.
Larry Kruger.
Yeah, Larry Kruger, about how he loves the 49ers because it's the little things they do, right? It's the attention to detail that they require out of all their players. That's what separates this team. Bro, it's the attention to detail that fucked us up on that play. It was 3rd and 1, and the 49ers snuck it for a first down, got it called back because you weren't set. But anyway, I just had to note that.
Well, it's a difference between attention to detail and being so tunnel visioned on the detail that you lose the forest for the trees.
True.
Which is what happened. Good
point. All right, so back to this drive. They're up 13-10. Very nice drive. It was only 5 plays. What did you guys think of the drive? This looks like vintage George Kittle. Looks like he's playing as good as he's ever played. Any thoughts on that drive, or do you want to keep going?
No, nothing
keep going?
Really.
All right. So they're up 13-10. And then the next drive, Dallas gets the ball at the 11 because there was a penalty. This is where D. Winters gets hurt. This was when they did that stupid pitch that ended up being an illegal forward pass. So they got a 5-yard penalty or half the distance to the goal, whatever it is. So they start at their own 11. Jake Ferguson, no gain. Dak Prescott hits CeeDee Lamb for 6 yards. And then Dak Prescott snaps the ball, rolling to his left, has Fred Warner coming into his face. And Lenore just baits him completely. And he throws a pass up the sideline for CeeDee Lamb that Lenore steals, which, by the way, there's like 2 or 3 clips of the same exact interception at Levi's that Lenore has had on Dak. It's really impressive, right along the same sideline. Matt, you said it immediately, like, holy shit, Lenore just baited Dak into that. Yeah. What did you see there?
So he was responsible for the flat, and like he kind of just like sunk the zone to kind of let CeeDee Lamb get a little bit of space, and then just flipped his hips and ran right to where Dak was going to throw the ball. And like, it was 100% a bait. You could see him doing it, and it was an awesome play. Looked like he had safety help over the top just in case he didn't get back there in time. So I thought it was like a worthwhile gamble. And, you know, it's at that point where you're starting to think like, damn, dude, like, why couldn't Lenore have just agreed to that extension last offseason? Because the more he does stuff like this, the more expensive he's going to get. And like, by all means, he's worth every penny, but very, very impressive. Very big game IQ there. So I was really, really, really happy with that.
Yeah. He's playing all pro level. Afterwards, they asked him about it, and he said, I noticed they run that formation a lot. It's an indicator of a sprint out. I just took my chance and baited the quarterback inside open shoulder and picked the ball. I knew he was going to throw it there. So really, you know, that's just like a telltale sign. Dude watches film. Dude knows what he's talking about. Dude understands and can recognize patterns. And great play. Mm-hmm. Was really impressed. And yeah, I really wish the 49ers were able to lock down that extension back in June or July, but he knew what he was doing when he bet on himself. So the 49ers get the ball back after the interception at the Dallas 32. Purdy hits Garendo for 12 yards. Purdy hits Debo for 3 yards. I think that was that screen pass that kind of got blown up. Debo runs for 4 yards. Damn, did I think this was going to be in, but he got stopped short. And then Purdy scrambles 7 yards for the first down, or 6 yards, for the first down on 3rd and 3. Purdy's legs were a big part of this game. Like somebody said earlier, he had as much rushing yards as the entire Dallas Cowboys at the end of it. 2nd and goal. They try to get Juice up the middle. He gets stuffed at the 1. 3rd and goal. Purdy hits Kittle for a touchdown. And this was the play, if you guys remember, where there was the pick by Conley when they did throw 2 flags
Chris
immediately.
Collinsworth wanted that to be a pick play so bad.
Badly. Kittle's wide open in the end zone. And I'm thinking, holy shit, the 49ers are finally running pick plays and getting their receivers open in the end zone. Thank God. And then I see 2 flags. I'm like, God dang it. But they picked them up.
They picked it up.
What were your guys' thoughts? That was obviously I'm a 49ers fan. I don't think it was a pick, but there's like a heated debate.
I mean, why is there a heated debate? It's only because Chris Collinsworth said it and because Cowboys fans are little bitches. It's the only reason why it's a debate. Every other team gets away with this shit. And the Cowboys got away with this on the 49ers like the same night. Juwan Jennings never put his hand out to make contact with the guy that was supposed to go and get Kittle. He was actually Conley. Sorry. Jennings didn't play. Conley, you can see Conley like doing like the little shuffle, like breakdown with his hands, and he's got them to his body, like he's running a route, and his defender actually like pushes his like hip into the other defender, and it's just like, I mean, that's just a natural pick. It's not, again, is it a designed pick play? Yes, but it's not a rule breaking pick play, if that makes sense. And it's goal line plays that the 49ers should run way more often, by the way.
Yeah, I've been calling for it all like the last 2 or 3 seasons, if I'm being honest. Like, use your tight ends to fake a block or, and then just let them break out. It's easy. It's goal line. Like, even bad teams in the NFL do this play. You know what I mean? Like, they just hide the tight end behind the wide receiver, let him run behind him, and he's right there for the taking. And the Niners just never seem to do it. So when they did it, immediately I was like, finally, Kyle's going to implement this into the game plan. Like, let's freaking go. Like, he could have done that with Sauber. It didn't have to be Kittle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could be any tight end, And then you sit back and you watch the play, and it's like, why are they throwing flags? Like, come on, man. The one time we finally do it, and it's coming back. And I was, like, all pissed off.
Look at the ref.
When I saw 2 of them, and I was like, oh, man. I was like, if one guy thought he saw it, like, both guys think they saw it, it's definitely going to stand. And I don't know if New York intervened on this or what, but
this was an expedited replay review.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like very, very happy that they picked the flags up, and like I said, finally we get the
by the way
sneaking out.
In this shot right here, look how close Kittle is in Conley's pocket. So let's shout out George Kittle for this route, because like he is literally in Conley's pocket.
Yeah, like their feet looked like they were going to
could have touched. Yeah. As a matter of fact, it looked like Kittle cleared his left leg.
He did,
to get out of the way.
Yep, right there.
Yep.
And I mean that's precision.
Yeah.
That's exactly how that play was drawn up, and it just so happened. I mean, again, Conley's just running his route. So
also 2 things. If you watch, Conley has the right to the same territory that the defender has.
Absolutely.
So he's trying to run his route, and number 6 does not move at all. I mean, he's standing right in front of him, so they just get tangled up.
And then looks like another 6 that I remember.
Yeah,
flopping all over the ground. You know who I'm talking about.
But my other point, look at Purdy with 55 coming straight at him, hands up, and he's able to kind of sidearm that throw right around him to a wide open. Because we've seen this play get batted down before, and we're like, damn, the receiver was wide open.
This is going to be, and people are going to come at me for this. I don't care. I'm not saying from an arm strength standpoint, but the multiple arm slot thing is very much like prime Aaron Rodgers. It's stuff that Aaron Rodgers would do. Not the arm strength. I'm talking about throwing from different slots.
Angles and platforms and trajectories. Yeah. And that's what I like to see. I was really excited on the after the touchdown and the extra point, they show the replay again. And that's when I realized the angle that Purdy threw this on, because I don't know if you guys remember last game and all season, honestly, there's so many times where they show like the ball's getting batted down. I'm like Purdy, you got to know you got to get rid of the ball quickly, and you got to see the guy right in front of you. And so he finally did it, I was very, very happy with it. Like, all right, this is
Yep.
progress. This is growth. This is us learning from all the mistakes we've made all season long. Like, let's carry this momentum into the bye week. Like, this is when I started feeling like, okay, we're here. And by the way, 2 drives. Oh, never mind. Is this the second drive or the first drive? Sorry.
It's the second because they got
Second.
the interception.
Yep.
Okay,
2 drives,
yeah.
2 touchdowns.
2 drives, 2 touchdowns. And I text Erica. Erica's the one that was here that left. I was like, we didn't get any touchdowns while you were here. Thank you so much for leaving. Like, you're gone and we are 2 for 2. Like, thank you so much. Like, this is what we needed.
Yeah. And you know, by the way, I really wanted to shout out the 49ers for taking advantage of a turnover. How many times have we, I mean, even in the first half, they got the interception. 5 plays later, they're punting. I know they got it already in the Dallas 30, but still, they didn't settle for 3. They got the touchdown. It's very, very important in these games because if it could have gone 16-10, that's much different than 20-10. So shout out to the 49ers. We have a super chat here from Sid Brown. Thank you, Sid. Injuries always force Kyle to change. However we get there, progress. That's a good point.
Well, so that's something I'm saving for the end of the show, but I'll say it now. I'm hoping that Kyle realizes, hey, I can actually trust some of these young guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like this game, we relied a lot on. We haven't even mentioned Pearsall yet. We relied on Garindo, Pearsall, like the rookies on the offensive side of the ball, which is something that Kyle just does not like to do by any stretch of the imagination. But when you have all these kind of injuries and all, it's something that, you know, it's going to play a part. And so I was very, very happy with that.
I agree. Delvin Thomas, another super chat, and it's in Mr. Collinsworth's voice tone. He hates us. Later on, we'll talk about. Yeah, we did keep forgetting a ring. We'll talk about how he talked about Ricky Pearsall, and it was like the most backhanded compliment I've ever heard anybody give. But I agree with you, Delvin. He was just salty. We talk about salty. Okay, so now they're suddenly up 20-10. They win at a halftime, 10-6. Cowboys up 14 unanswered points. The Cowboys get the ball back with the chance to make it a 1-score game again. But the defense comes through for the 49ers, and the Cowboys go 3 and out and force a punt. So the Niners get the ball back 20-10 with 6 minutes left in the third. Garindo gets 4 yards. By this point, Mason is hurt again, by the way. He kind of re-aggravated that AC sprain in his shoulder. He was standing there on the sidelines with his helmet on. Looked like he could have come back in if needed, but clearly Kyle was going with Garindo since he was running effectively. Second down, Purdy scrambled for 16 yards to the right. First down, Purdy hits Kittle. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Was that the play where it was supposed to go to Debo and then like he kept it and ran?
Yep.
Yeah, like and it was a broken play. We weren't sure if it was like a zone read or an option.
Right.
Purdy said in the press conference it was kind of like it was supposed to go to Debo and Kittle wasn't there, so he just kept it and run. Maybe they need to start incorporating that because that was.
That's great instincts.
Yeah, that play was going to be picked.
Yeah.
Or bad at the very least. Like there was a guy like who saw Debo coming a mile away. He was ready to take that ball to the house, and there would have been no one to stop him except Purdy. So I think Kyle would have just told him, like, let him go type of thing. Like, you know, so it was a really, really good improv by Purdy there. Really good.
Yep.
Plus,
I think this was the best drive of the night for Purdy, by the way, as well.
Yep. Agreed. So he picks up, 16 yards on the ground off a broken play, and then he hits Kittle for 27 yards down to the Dallas 28.
Absolute dot.
I
want to say that dot. Also, play action from under center.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I can actually play it. We back, bitches. That's what happens when the run game is going and you put them back under center, not the shotgun stuff that we've been seeing all year long.
Well, they kept, and you know, for as biased as they were, Collinsworth does have a point. Every time they're in shotgun, they load the box.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's what they've been doing. That's what the Chiefs did. That's what multiple teams have been doing, and it can be confusing, right? You don't know if you got a blitzer. You don't know if somebody's going to drop back into coverage. If you have everybody up on the line, like where's your hot read? Like it's, you know, I think that they could do a lot of things by just being under center. It keeps the defense honest at times. So,
So hits Kittle for 27 yards down to the Dallas 28. 3-yard run by Guerrero. No gain on 2nd and 7. Pass to Guerrero. 3rd and 7. Purdy hits Debo for 16 yards down to the Dallas 9.
On a quick hitting pass.
Yes.
Again.
That was on target this time, but yes, 16 yards down to the Cowboys 9-yard line. 1st and goal, Guerrero for 1 yard. 2nd and goal, Debo Samuel. This is the one where I thought he was going to score. He kind of got it running to the right side. And Debo, I think, kind of stepped a little bit. I think if he just would have kept going, he gets in. He did have 2 defenders, but he also had a lead blocker. And I think he would have beaten them to the corner. But no worries, because on 3rd and goal from the 2-yard line, how many sneaks do you see 2 yards out? Not many, but the 49ers were comfortable enough to run it with Purdy.
He checked into that play, too.
Yeah.
That was a can.
The only team that sneaks from that far out is if they know they're going for it on 4th down, or the Eagles. They do that shove crap that they do. But you don't see it that often. So it was a really good call, really good check by Purdy, like what Matt was saying. Yep.
49ers throwback says, Matt, Trayvon Diggs credits 49ers coaching staff, but dude seems salty.
That's because he gets tuned up every time he plays us.
Yeah. Somebody's saying they thought Purdy was short. The review was kind of iffy, but they ruled it a touchdown. There wasn't enough to overturn it.
I'll be honest with you guys. I saw the replays, and I thought his elbow was down before that ball broke the plane. I'm not going to lie to you at all, but it just has to, a tip of the ball has to touch a tip of the white. It doesn't have to break the plane. It just has to get the white. So
and the other part of it too is there needs to be clear evidence to overturn the call in the field. Right. And the call in the field was touchdown.
I don't know why they can't just show it a damn straight down the line view. They're like showing it from like above at an angle. I'm like, I can't tell if that ball broke the plane or not. Like, you guys have pylon cams. Let's see what that shows.
Right.
By the way, Tech Jedi says Cardinals are 4. How are the Cardinals 4-4? That division is pretty feisty. Cardinals are always good enough to play spoiler 2 to 3 times a year, especially now that they have Marvin Harrison.
Especially early in the season too. Like Cardinals will ruin everybody's plans early in the season.
They ruined Tua's homecoming.
Games. Yeah.
So yeah, they're good enough to play spoiler a couple times. All right. So after that, the 49ers are now suddenly up 27-10. Teams trade punts, and then the Cowboys
This is when I get pissed off.
10 plays in 70 yards. And I'm going to read out the plays to you guys just so you see how frustrating this was. 1st and 10, false start. 1st and 15, 1-yard run, 4-yard pass. 3rd and 10, incomplete pass to Jalen Tolbert, but Ward is flagged for pass interference. So that's a 19-yard penalty. 49ers 1st and 10. Or excuse me, Cowboys.
I can't remember. Was this the one that like was soft as fuck?
No.
This one was legit PI.
This one was legit, and I was screaming at Ward. Like no one's been more critical of Charvarius Ward than I have been the last season.
I feel like you and me have been on that train. Like when everybody calls him Mooney Ward, I'm like, I ain't calling him Mooney.
Yep.
He got to earn nicknames.
Yep.
Can't just have them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, they get the flag. First and 10 at midfield now. Incomplete pass on 2nd and 10. 3rd and 10. They 6-yard pass to Ferguson. 4th and 4. Prescott's scrambling, and he's able to find Kevontae Turpin for 16 yards. Lenore looked like he just kind of, I think he came back. He saw Dak was scrambling, and he came back to the quarterback. Lenore wasn't in position to make the play. 1st and 10 at the Niners 29. Jalen Tolbert for 9 yards. CeeDee Lamb for 15 yards. Elliott for a loss of 2, but then on 2nd and goal, CeeDee Lamb is wide open in the end zone for the touchdown. How do you let 88 wide open? It's the one receiver they have that's like good. You know what I mean?
They do that a lot. They let the other team's best receiver get open and score a lot.
Yeah.
He was so open that I couldn't tell who was supposed to be covering him. I was like, what?
I think there was a collision in the defensive backfield.
Was that on this one or the other one?
On this one.
All right.
Yeah.
On this one. The next one, I don't even know what happened.
So They went, like I said, 70 yards in 10 plays, took a little under 4 minutes off the clock. So it's 17-27. Lead is down to 10. 49ers get the ball with 8 minutes left in the fourth.
By the way, this is when everyone started, the Niners have a 10-point lead again. What's
exactly
going to do? Is he going
not the dreaded 10-point lead?
Yeah, Jesus.
So get the ball up, Ted. Garendo, 4-yard run. Ricky
God, there's a lot of
Pearsall.
stupid fucking people out there, huh? Doing that shit.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised, like, how many Niner fans are not happy with a 10-point lead. They either want it to be 9 or 11 or more. Like, it's like, dude, like, what are we talking
we only
about?
scored 17 again. Oh.
Yep.
So 2nd and 6 at the 49ers 35-yard line. Pearsall gets the end around, or I believe it was, and takes it for 39 yards all the way down to the Dallas 26-yard line. This was a great run, and it showed he was comfortable with, people around him. He was booking down the sidelines, and this is that play where Collins was like, he's not the fastest, he's not the strongest, but he's making the most of it. It's like, fuck you, dude. This dude was just shot like 50 days ago, like, what's with this backhanded compliment?
I mean, and listen, Chris Collinsworth aside, like, there was another one where he's like, something like he's been making a lot of plays, or like, I don't know, he's like been making a lot of plays all season or something like that. And it's like, dude, it's the second game. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It was like, dude, old man, did you even like look at this or what? Zach, I sent you the all 22 of that.
Got you.
Pearsall run. Because I do want to point out, to me, listen, I know Debo does the wide back thing or whatever, but to me, like, Pearsall shows that he has a lot of vision here on this play.
Well, first of all, I want to compliment the handoff on this. Watch how smooth. Look at the timing on this. Boom, boom. Like, holy
it's in there.
Smokes. I don't even think Brock got his foot down before he handed that ball. Like, what?
Yeah.
I know that it's like, Mike, you're praising a handoff. No, like, the timing on that was absolutely phenomenal.
So go back more. So watch Pearsall, like, cut the block of Kittle right, like he cuts it right against the grain, waits till he engages and cuts back.
Yep.
That's great vision. Then watch him wait for Conley.
Yep. Tried to slow
and then
down,
push ahead and use him.
And
that's fantastic vision.
When you see, we can't play it because of the angle, but the other angle of this, like the game film of this, you can see him like pushing Conley, like, no, you need to go this way so I can go that way. It was only for another 3 yards or so, but
yeah,
it's huge. Like, watch when he puts his hand on Conley's back. It's like right there.
Don't worry, Mike, I got you. I put
3.
that one in the chat too. I got it.
It's like, wow, like great instincts by this young man. Like, this is what you want to see. We don't have to just be Debo getting handoffs out of the backfield, and not for nothing, and no shot, no hate, no shade to Juwan Jennings at all, but like someone with more speed.
He can't do this.
Right.
Juwan can't do this stuff.
Like, this was a oh God, I love that handoff. Like, it was so freaking smooth, man.
And then look, waits, cuts back inside.
He engaged, and then watch this. Look, slows down right here. Get in front of him. No, that way. Push him in. Look at that. Oh, man, I absolutely loved it. Like,
it's fantastic.
What a job by the Rook. What a job by the Rook, man.
It's
very
fantastic.
Good.
I also don't know if we're there yet, but I would love to play the pass that Purdy had to Pearsall as well. Because that stuff was magic. I just put that up, but I don't know what point in the game that was, but it was sweet. I'll just say that.
I don't know if we got to that one yet. I think that's coming. I think that one's coming later. If it's the pass I'm thinking about. Because Pearsall had a couple.
It might have already happened because there's only two more drives left.
I think this was early in the game, but I think it's worth pointing out when we talk about Pearsall, if you want to bring that up, just because I think that this is what they drafted Pearsall in the first round for. And all these people that said Pearsall can't separate, Pearsall can't do this and that, there were multiple. Listen, I've said that Ricky Pearsall has separated. And for Chris Collinsworth to be like, he's not the fastest. I mean, it's like, yeah, he's not Tyreek Hill, but he's like a 4.41 guy. Like, he's not slow either. You know what I mean? Like, he's fast.
Yep.
I don't know, man. Like, it just looked really good. I think it's going to be dangerous if him and Brock like really sync up their timing and the 49ers have another weapon. And this, again, what I've seen out of him, obviously Brandon Ayuk being out really, really hurts, but maybe this just is like a touch of salve on the wound. You know what I mean? When you can get this guy doing the thing.
What I love the most about the whole Pearsall thing, you will never hear him compared to Wes Welker. You'll never hear it. Like, it's like, oh, it's a white receiver. It must be Wes Welker. Sorry.
I already heard Adam Thielen.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're gonna have to scramble to find another white receiver to compare him to.
Do you have that one? I put it in the chat.
Yeah. Let me pull it up.
It's like you guys are gonna have to find someone else to compare him to, or just give him his own lane, because this kid is out there doing it. I mean, eventually they're gonna start. I guarantee you, before the end of the season, you're gonna hear Cooper Kupp comparisons.
Watch the anticipation on this throw. Like this is
where he's throwing.
Right here, yeah.
He didn't even break.
Go back and let it play.
He didn't even break yet. Like, look at that. It's like just complete trust. He knows the play. Look at that. Oh my God.
He turns around.
He doesn't even see the ball until it's like 6 yards away from him.
Right. He threw the ball before he broke. He threw the ball before he turned and looked his direction. It's like, you better be at your spot. That's what I like seeing right there.
And go back one more time. Sorry. Look at how crispy this route is from Pearsall. Foot in the ground and bam, he's there. And that cornerback is on skates.
Stayed at the 50. Look at
that. So one more time. Watch. Is that who's that up top? No,
Kittle,
watch 27 up top.
Oh, DB.
Watch him when Pearsall makes his break.
He's still backing up. Yeah.
He's still on his back pedal. And what that tells me is they know Pearsall has speed. And when you have to, no offense to Juwan Jennings and no offense to Deebo Samuel, who doesn't run crispy routes like that. But this is, instead of rounding off routes or being, a little slow footed, when you run good routes and you run crisp routes, the defense has to respect your deep speed. You're fast and you can run a crispy route. This is what happens. You get somebody put on skates because you've given them the threat, something to think about on the deep play, and you're able to make these moves and gain. This is where Pearsall's gaining that separation,
By the way, just want to say these sideline throws are like some of the more difficult throws of the NFL. Like Purdy puts that a little behind him, takes a little too long to get there. 27's easily able to undercut that and take it back for 6.
Right.
But Purdy has enough mustard on it to throw it and put it on the outside to where only Pearsall can get it. And it's perfectly timed right out of his break. This was a great play, especially from two players who have not played much together.
At all.
So,
yeah.
Is that McKivitz on the floor?
Of course it is.
It doesn't matter. His guy didn't get there. That's all I'm going to say.
We're the 49ers. Of course, Colt
maybe
McKivitz got knocked on his ass.
Juice. Let's see.
I don't know.
That might have been McKivitz, bro. That might have been McKivitz. Let's see.
It's Juice.
Oh,
he fell.
Okay.
Yeah, this was a great throw. And it just shows the type of capital A+ anticipation.
Juice is so overpaid, huh?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I think we should talk about this now since we have a super chat from Sean. Sean said, praying for Ward. A child's death is hard. Probably why his play's off. Nick Tomsula is no good. Still not sold on his Shanahanigans. Be blessed, Mike. In case you guys haven't heard, unfortunately on Monday morning, Traveris Ward's daughter passed away. She had been dealing with illnesses her whole life, her young life. So we want to say our condolences go out to the Ward family. Prayers for obviously Traveris and his wife. Hopefully they're doing okay, as okay as possible, because it's extremely tough thing to deal with. So condolences.
Yeah,
hopefully he's doing okay.
No words for that.
No words. Nothing you could say, man. But all right.
Mike, Sean, what's the Nick Tomsula thing?
I think it's the DC. I assume.
Nick Sorensen.
Oh, all right.
Still no good. Still not sold on his Shanahanigans.
Well, so Sean is out on Kyle at this point. Like, it's like we've seen. So here's the issue with. I don't want to derail the show. Can we come back to it?
Yeah.
Let's get through the roundup, and then if we bring that comment up again, I'll know exactly what we're talking about. So let's finish the roundup of the game, and then we'll do it, because we only got like another drive or so.
By the way, the 49ers added one more to their exciting whites lineup. If you guys know the meme, now they got Ricky Pearsall added in there. All right. So the 49ers get the ball. I think I had just left off on that Pearsall run for 39 yards. 1st and 10, Cowboys 26-yard line. Patrick Taylor runs for 3 yards, but the 49ers are flagged for an illegal formation. I think this is Conley again. So then they're backed up. 1st and 15, Patrick Taylor run for 4 yards. Patrick Taylor run for 5 yards. And on 3rd and 6, Purdy's pass is incomplete. Carlson comes out and nails a field goal, which pushes this lead back to 13 points. By the way, I'm pretty sure this is when Isaac Guerrero was shaken up a bit because he was in the blue tent, and that's why we saw Patrick Taylor come in at the end of the 4th quarter. So the 49ers are already without Mason. Guerrero was shaken up, which I don't know what his injury actually ended up being. Luckily, it doesn't appear to be anything serious. So the Cowboys get the ball back 17-30 with 4:25 left. And in less than a minute, they go 70 yards. And again, CeeDee Lamb is wide open for the touchdown. So these are the plays. No gain on 1st down, 21-yard pass to CeeDee Lamb on 2nd down.
He had the whole drive.
1st and 10 on the 49. CeeDee Lamb again for another 29 yards.
2.
1st and 10 from the 20. CeeDee Lamb again for 20 yards. So
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb had all of the 70 yards on this drive. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
That's why he said Nick Tomsula. That right there.
Yeah.
How are you letting the best weapon they have on the offensive side of the ball dice you up like this in a critical, crucial time of the game? What is your job in this moment? How do you allow this to happen?
Yeah.
How do you allow it to happen? You can't justify it. There's nothing that they can say. It's one player. It's one freaking guy. And then the touchdown was worse than the catches up and down the field because it's like, why? There was no one close. Both of his touchdowns.
No one
like
within 10 yards.
I benched him. I had him in fantasy, and I lost my fantasy game by 2. If I had started him, I would have won by like 20. Right? It's like this guy was just killing the Niners. It's like what are we doing? How do we let the best player? I get it. One time, right? You think back to the Vikings game, right? That last play before half. That was really all Justin Jefferson did. Like that one busted play. I can forgive that if you make the in-game adjustments. You let this guy get you not once, but twice for wide open touchdowns, and he had an entire drive to himself.
Yeah. It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. There's no answers for it. Matt, you're muted.
Nathaniel, it is Kyle, but also it isn't Kyle. You know what I'm saying? Like from a top-down viewpoint, yes, he's the head coach, so some of this stuff falls on him. But also, like he's not calling the defense. Nick Sorensen's calling the defense. So
hold on now. We heard all of last year.
Listen, I'm
listen.
Hold on. Well, intervening in certain moments with specific things that he didn't like, and it was towards the end of the season. Hold on. God damn it. Let me finish. Fucking shit. If I wasn't going to hold Kyle's feet to the fire last year with Steve Wilks and take the blame on Steve Wilks, then I got to have the same energy for Nick Sorensen. And so Nick Sorensen deserves an outside share of the blame. And this defense this year, points per game, has been way worse than Steve Wilks' defense last year. So, again, So,
at what point does Kyle intervene then?
I mean, let's see what happens after the bye week because, again, nothing was going to happen after the bye or until the bye.
Okay.
You know, like that game that we lost to Arizona and people were just like, you know, even you were like, oh, how can they like not get get over it? Like whatever. And I'm just like, look, nothing's going to change in 3 days. So like, that's literally the right answer. Forget it. Cause you can't focus on it. You dwell on that. And then you're not ready for Seattle on Thursday night. They came out, they won that game. I would like to see. So yes, it is Kyle. The final thing is with Kyle, right? And Kyle can decide looking at all the tape being like, listen, Nick, we got to have Brandon Staley have more of an input or this and that, you know, because whatever's going on isn't working. This is not, you know, it's not going to be he fires Nick Sorensen. That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen, yeah.
Not until the offseason, if at all. But it would be, again, like I said, you would start to see a little bit of a change and it would be a subtle change. And then all of a sudden you would see, you know, things that are a little more geared towards what, you know, what Staley is known for, with the DBs, whether it's the coverage. I know a lot of complaints for Nick Sorensen is that on 3rd and long, he tends to run like man coverage most of the time. Things like that. So you would see some things.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll see the difference when there's 5 and 6 man fronts on the defensive line. Like that's when not Sorensen, Staley is having his input because he likes doing exotic stuff like that. And I mean, something's got to give. We cannot it's one thing to get beat by a 3rd wide receiver or even a 2nd wide receiver, right? Like the second best option on the offense. When you are consistently getting beat by the opposing team's best offensive player, that's like 101. Like that's like it's just completely unacceptable. He's got to figure something out where he doesn't just go to the podium and says, "Oh, well, we just got to tackle better or we just got to make plays." Like, yeah, no shit. But you got to put the guys in position to make the plays. You got to call the plays that allow the guys to improve on what they're doing. And we just haven't seen that yet. And I do agree with Matt. There's not going to be a firing in season. So if you guys are expecting that or hoping for it, it's not going to happen. But what you will start to see a difference is, and this is when I knew it was over for Wilkes, is they line up for a play and Kyle calls a timeout.
Yep.
That's when you're going to know, okay, Kyle's fed up, enough of this shit. Dude, what the hell is that call? Absolutely not. I saw the formation. I see what they're doing, and I'm not going to allow you to run that with my defense out there. That's when we're going to know Kyle's really getting involved there.
For sure. Yeah. And again, he's not going to throw Nick Sorensen under the bus publicly. It would be behind closed doors, and you would see subtle differences in how they're calling the defense because they have the horses, right? They have the ability to hold these teams. And again, like you said, it'd be one thing if it was a 3rd wide receiver, which we kind of saw in the Rams game, right? No Cooper Kupp, no Puka Nacua. Wow. You're out there running with Tutu Atwell, and you let Tutu Atwell carve you up.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't understand it, right? Justin Jefferson, the one guy that you can't let beat you, you let him get a 90-yard touchdown.
Before the half, yeah.
Right. And again, like you said, one play, and he didn't really do anything in the second half, but that one play means a lot.
Momentum, it's a spark. And that's what I was going to say. It's more than just, okay, you let another guy get that play. When you let the best guy get that play, he hypes up the sideline. That's the same guy that after he scores, hey, we're not done yet. Now he's giving a motivational speech to offensive players and defensive players when they get back to that sideline. And that's enough to be a spark plug. Their momentum in football and basketball, I will say, are the realest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's the thing with NBA, right? Everybody goes on a run.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That momentum is no joke.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I'll say this too, because the 49ers, and we talk about, the fans or whatever, 49ers have given up multiple leads in the second half of games, in the fourth quarter more specifically. Then does it come into the mind where they go, oh shit, not this again?
Yeah. Now the players on the defense start doubting themselves. Yep. Offense starts pressing because they're thinking the defense is going to let us down. We got to do a little bit more.
And we saw exactly that, and I'm very glad. I mean, I guess we'll get to it. I don't know. Maybe we just jump to the last meaningful drive, which is the Cowboys' last drive.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick. 2 things. It was very clear Dak Prescott was struggling with the pressure the 49ers were bringing all night. 2 picks under pressure, and then it's like, okay, in nut cutting time, in time to really close this bitch out, let's just rush 3. Let's just rush 3, drop everyone else back. Clearly, more bodies in the backfield allows them to trip up on each other and allows CD to get completely open. It's like, let's just let our guys play man coverage, whatever you want to do, and keep rushing, keep bringing pressure because it was working all night. When you give Dak time to pick apart a defense, it's going to work in his favor. Second thing, Matt, you mentioned how our defense starts kind of second guessing themselves. Fred Warner literally said just that with Seattle game. Did you guys think you were going to lose this one? Did the past losses that you guys had a 10-point lead or a multiple score lead and lost, did that come in your mind? And he said, without a doubt, for sure. That was the first thing in my mind. Damn, here we go again. So this was a game that the 49ers, this is the second type of this year where this one was a little different because they came back, but just like Seattle, they had a big lead in the fourth quarter and they almost gave it up, but luckily they didn't. They were able to withstand the late drive, the late pressure. But let's go back to that last drive. 49ers get the ball back up 6. They get the ball back with 3.5 minutes left. Purdy scrambles for 7 yards, on first down. And then on 2nd and 3, Isaac Guerrero completely misses a block, and Purdy gets blindside sacked for a 7-yard loss. I don't know how he didn't fumble this ball. That might be one of the best feats of Purdy's career so far, is holding on to this ball.
What an amazing sack, right? Like, wow. Right? Yeah.
Completely blindsided and gets hit from behind by Overshowed. So go ahead, Matt.
The sad part about that, too, is if you watch the play from up top, Purdy was honing in on Ricky Pearsall, who was wide ass open.
Would have been a big game. Big game.
Would have been like 30 yards at least.
Yep. So then it goes from a big gain and a first down to potentially ice the game to 3rd and 10. And Purdy can't find anyone. He dumps down to Juice, who can only get 6 yards. Suddenly it's 4th and 4 with 3 minutes left. And Dallas is able to take a timeout. 49ers have to punt with 3:15 left in the game, only up 6. So they can lose it on a touchdown. So the Cowboys get the ball back, 3 minutes left, incomplete pass to CeeDee Lamb. Fred Warner's there. 2nd and 10, incomplete pass. 3rd and 10, incomplete pass. 4th and 10, Dak drops back and tries to hit Jay Brooks. I don't even know who this is. And there was contact. Feet got tangled, but it was incomplete. And I was so thankful Bill Vinovich was not Bill Vinovich on this 4th down play. Throw a flag and bail the Cowboys out because it was a turnover on downs and the 49ers get the ball back.
I guarantee you every single 49ers fan, when the wide receiver and the DB went down together, everybody puckered up and was waiting for the flag to come out. We've been conditioned, right, that we never get those calls. So again, like you said, incidental contact, and it was clear too. Like they essentially just ran over each other with their feet. So,
by the way, Nathaniel, they didn't pass on 3rd and 3. It was 2nd and 3. By the way, they still needed to ice the clock. Still need to get a first down. 2nd and 3, they passed, and Purdy got sacked.
The thought is on 2nd and short, you can take that that deep crosser that Pearsall was running, and if it's not there and you have to get rid of it, then it's 3rd and short, and you have a ton of options.
And more importantly, like the opposing team, when you're trying to control the clock, you want to run timeout. The opposing team is probably thinking this is an 80-20 run play here. And so if you can get that crosser, it's easy yards, big play, completely demoralize the opposing team. So it was the right play call. Yep. It was 100% the right play call.
Especially with Dallas having at least 2 timeouts. I don't remember how many they had. They had at least 2 at this point.
Right. But it's a rookie out there, and these are going to be some of the hiccups. And, Guerendo's been getting better game after game. So I'm not going to crucify the kid for, the missed block or anything like that. But it was definitely a big moment in the game. And I really, not for nothing, especially if we can come away with a win, this is the kind of mistake that I want that kid to harp on.
Yes.
Because he won't make that mistake again.
Yes. By the way, Nathaniel, Fred Warner should have intercepted the first pass on the last drive. Fred got so high, but if he didn't, Lenore was going to take that. He was going to have a second pick.
What was it? It was like Next Gen Stats put out a play. Like the 49ers knew there were 3 people in line to intercept that ball. Like they knew exactly where it was going. They were looking for CeeDee Lamb again, right? Like go back to the well. And then if you notice after that near pick, he didn't look CeeDee Lamb's way the other 3 times. He was like, "Oh shit, better not do that again."
Damn.
So talk about Pavlovian response and no, I mean, all offense to Dak, training your bitch. Yeah, dude.
It was a good play by Warner. Instincts just getting up there, but Lenore was right behind it. It would have fallen right into his breadbasket. So the 49ers get the ball back after the turnover on downs. There's still 2 minutes and 43 seconds left with the 2-minute warning, so they can't just take a knee. Guerrero runs for 4 yards down to the Dallas 21. Guerrero runs for 4 yards, and on 3rd and 2, Guerrero gets the edge and is able to walk into the end zone, but he does slide, and it is a for sure slide, not like Seattle time where it was kind of debated. He slides down to the Dallas 3 where the 49ers can enter victory formation.
Seattle was a for sure slide too. People are just tripping.
He got his foot to, it was a slide, but people are giving him shit for it. It was too early of a
Listen,
slide.
you've never seen somebody go down the way he went down without it being on purpose. He would have dove forward. Like, he's a running back, man. Like,
right.
He's not going to get ankle picked and then just go into a baseball slide. He's going to dive forward if you want a touchdown. He has really good situational football awareness of like getting down. So, which I'm glad he got a touchdown this game. His first touchdown, because he's taken 2 off the board for himself for the betterment of the team, and I really appreciate that in a young rookie.
Yeah, the selflessness of those plays in 2 games is phenomenal, right? But what I liked even more is the ability to have fun in a clutch moment, to get up and be like, hey, I slid, I went down on purpose. Like, he was like talking to every camera that was on him. Like, I did that on purpose. This one was on me. And then even at the podium, it's like, no, I did that on purpose. I just want to make it clear, set the record straight. This one, I slid on purpose. Like, cool. Like, way to have fun heading into the bye week, right? Like, what a morale boost for the 49ers, for Kyle, trusting in the young rookie and all that stuff. Like, that's what you want to see in the team right there.
So the 49ers go on to win this 30-24. Let me pull up the final stats, then we can have a couple conversations about, what stood out to us and what didn't. So Purdy finished the game 18 of 26, 260 yards, 1 touchdown, QBR of 75.4, quarterback rating, or passer rating, I should say, of 114.3. He was sacked 2 times for 14 yards. Guerrero finished the game as a leading rusher, 14 carries for 85 yards and 1 touchdown. If you do the math, that's 6.1 yards per carry. Purdy, 8 carries, 56 yards, 7 yards a carry. Pearsall, 1 for 39. Mason, 6 for 18. Debo, 4 for 15. And then receiving, Kittle went off, 6 for 128. Shout out National Tight Ends Day. 1 for 28, 6 128, and 1 touchdown, long of 43. That's right. Debo, 4 for 71 with a long of 47. Pearsall, 4 for 38. So Pearsall had a total of 77 yards Sunday night. Guerrero, 3 for 17. By the way, we didn't talk about it, but early on in the game, I think it was the first third down or first drive, Purdy hit Debo on a deep shot, and that pass was just right on the. I mean, maybe it was a little behind him, but it was just in stride. Debo caught it and kept going, and it was really exciting to see. Just Purdy hit that. So and a
great play design on that, by the way, with Debo Samuel doing a wheel route out of the backfield.
Yeah, it was impressive. It really was impressive. So,
how do you guys feel with Kyle Shanahan's play calling with his back against the wall? Right, like this is, someone made a super chat about it earlier. Like it was like Kyle, like what for better or worse type of thing. Like it's like whether it be because of injuries or whatever, like he's gonna be forced to adjust, and not for nothing. I like the force. I like it. I like Kyle having to make these changes and say, hey, you don't have any other options right now. Everyone's wondering what we're going to do at the trade deadline or by the trade deadline. Do the Niners go out and try to get another guy and all that stuff? And I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't know that the Niners go out and try to make a trade. You drafted 2 wide receivers in this.
Not on offense.
What do you?
I put in our group chat that absolutely they're not trading for a wide receiver. Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, if they're gonna make a trade, it'll be for a linebacker or a defensive lineman. I don't think that they're gonna go out.
A trade to me would be on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, they haven't even touched Cowing yet. As much as all the 49er fans are clamoring, hey, we want to see Cowing on the offense, blah, 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 blah. They still haven't even looked his way yet. Conley's getting reps out there.
And here's the thing. Somebody that would have cost next to nothing that a lot of people wanted was Deontay Johnson, who got traded for a 5th and 6th round pick swap. Yeah. Like that's literally nothing. The 49ers get comp picks thrown their way left and right. Like they could have done that no problem, and they chose not to. And that should tell you everything that you need to know about, again, the Chiefs got DeAndre Hopkins for a 5th. Like nothing. You're essentially, it's free player if you need it. And the 49ers are like, no, we're good.
And it's double-sided, right? So it's one thing to say, we're going to see what these guys can do and all that stuff. But like the bonus of not trading for one of those guys is like, hey, we have that much confidence in you. Like, and now these guys get to go home and say, okay, cool, my job is safe. As someone who was the new guy in town for this company that bought my company, right? It's like, oh man, I'm the new guy. Like, I need to know that they value me here. That's that statement from the 49ers. It's like, hey, you have a value here. You are extremely part of the plan going forward. We're going to be patient with you. We aren't looking for an Emmanuel Sanders type trade right now. Like, we have that faith in you. You're going to be that guy. You will develop. And so they have because it's not over yet. They could surprise all three of us. I think all three of us agree that they're not going to trade for a wide receiver, right? But they could surprise all three of us and do it. If they don't, it's going to speak volumes to the confidence they have in the development of these wide receivers.
It's a confidence ladder for the wide receivers as well. And the bonuses next year, hopefully you get a healthy Brandon Ayuk back. And then once that happens, you now have a year of development, or at least a half a season of development with Pearsall and Cowing. So if you need, if you end up losing Jennings, or, you end up needing to, move off of Debo or somebody else, you've got the replacement in-house already, and you don't have to worry about going and hunting for that. You've seen what these kids can do.
Matt, I did want to ask you about this, and sorry, Zach.
Sure.
So I saw the clip. I don't watch the Fred Warner, Debo Samuel, or Brandon Ayuk podcast or whatever they have, but I did see the clip going around with Ayuk talking about how extensive his injury was. We already knew about ACL, MCL, but then he said something at meniscus, I believe it was.
Oh yeah, meniscus. Yeah.
My question to you is this something that he can return from? Because I'm not that guy. I know it's a bunch of shit in the legs and lower extremities, but I couldn't tell you.
Sure.
Like, is this something that he may never recover from? Is there a likelihood that we get him back? What percentage do you put it at that Brandon Ayuk plays football?
I don't know. I mean, that he plays football again. I mean, I think it's 8 and like 90% that he plays to the level that he did before. That's a little more murky. Like the 10% I would say would be reserved for if, post-op infection or some type of unforeseen thing, or if he gets like bone spurs or like arthritis or something like that. You never know with that. I think it's very important, and I think it'll be the case that he gets the meniscus repaired rather than trimmed. There's no point in getting it trimmed if you're going to go in there and fix the ACL and the MCL as well. You would just get the meniscus repaired and hope that it, heals, and so that he still has that cushion in that knee. A lot of the times that we've seen a lot of these athletes get arthritic knees early, Todd Gurley and things like that, it's because they had the meniscus trimmed rather than full on repaired. You're going to be out for up to a year anyway. Like I would say, don't expect Brandon Ayuk back right at the beginning of the season. I think he's going to be on the PUP list for, the first 6 games of the year or whatever. Perfectly fine. No rush. Whatever
So
you got to do to get back.
Like November.
You're talking like, October, November. Yeah. Before he comes back. I mean, I think like a full year for recovery, I think that's likely. I think return to form, if it comes, is going to be, late 1 year after, maybe even into 2026 before he gets, confidence. The mental aspect of it a lot of times is just as important as the physical.
And that wasn't going to be my next point. It's one thing to hear the list of injuries, but to hear the shakiness in his voice in that one little clip that I saw, and him saying like, I was like just weight bearing. I was just scared to put any kind of weight on it. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Like, he's not much of a talker as it is. So the few words that he does say, and then how you say it, it weighs on me. And he just made it sound like he was afraid to even like just stand on 2 feet and balance it evenly. So I just don't know. I mean, are we looking at something where you hear sometimes where like, oh, the left ACL went, so the right one's going to go next because of all the compensation on it? Like, he just didn't sound good. I don't know if you guys have that clip or not, but he didn't sound the most confident in the world. Like, it was a little off-putting to me. And my thought was, well, you just signed this long extension. Even if you got to sit out a whole other year, if the Niners get 3 more years out of you that are good, you're worth the extension. I'm cool with paying a guy the money because he didn't get it the first 3 or 4 years. So boom, here's something up front, and then we get you for 3 years on the back end. So we're gonna hear it now. Cool, good on you guys to pull it up here. I'll shut up now, but you guys tell me what you think after this.
Hope everybody had a blessed weekend. For football, family, love. Happy Victory Monday. Hope this week is filled with blessings, love, health, wealth, and more life. But I just came to give y'all a little update. I'm 1 week. 1 week. Torn ACL. MCL. Messed up meniscus. Hurting. Trying to walk around a little bit today, a little bit. Weight bearing a little bit today, a little bit. But still scared to put all my weight on there. But it's officially 1 week. Long ass week. But thank you God for 1 week down. We got a lot more to go, but we still blessed. We still here. Yeah. We still here. Other than that, let's talk some football, man.
Is that a Ronnie Bell jersey behind him?
It is.
Yeah, that was tough to watch. I shared that in the group chat, and I said, as much as this guy pissed me off.
A lot of this too is going to be, think about, like, one, it's painful. Two, he has what they call in the medical community the unhappy triad. So he has the ACL, MCL, meniscus, and that knee is not stable at all. So I'm not surprised that he's scared to put all his weight on it, because that thing can buckle left and right. They have to wait a couple of weeks. He probably has significant swelling. They have to wait a couple of weeks for that to go down so that they can visualize all these tears and go in there and do a good repair job. Let the soft tissue, because I mean, if you're going in and operating on something that's already swollen, you're just going to make the inflammation worse, and you're not going to have good outcomes that way. So he's going to have to wait a couple of weeks. That's going to push back recovery time. I mean, it's a lot. And to be fair to Brandon Ayuk too, I believe it's his first major injury in football, in the NFL at least. So this is uncharted territory. So him being apprehensive and scared, I'm not surprised by that at all.
Yeah, it was tough to hear.
Listening to him describe 1 week, just the first week, but grateful for the week, but man, it's a long week. Like, when someone starts to put emphasis on how long a standard duration is, like, that's a mental cross. And I don't know about you guys. I'll speak for black people here. If I know I'm going on camera on my own fruition, and I don't stop to get a shape up, a line up, I don't stop to get my hair done, I am going through it. That spoke more to me about not being willing to even get up and go out, right? With the money he has, he can call a barber to come to his house and shape his shit up. His hair was rough and fucked up. I haven't had a shape up in 2 or 3 weeks, and my shit don't look that bad. Like, dude, like, you got to live life, you know? And I get it. It's 1 week post-surgery, right?
No,
But
I don't think he's had surgery yet.
Post-injury.
Oh,
he hasn't had surgery.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Post-injury. That's even. So you've been doing nothing but sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nothing but sitting.
He will.
Like,
So I'm going to let you know, he is going to very quickly after surgery feel a lot better. Very quickly, he's going to feel a lot better, because like right now, again, you have no stability in the knee. So any type of, think about all the things, and I'll go back. I mean, not nearly the same injury or whatever, but you know, God, it's been like 6 months now. I tore my calf, and everything was hard. Walking was hard. Think about all the things that like getting out of bed and putting that leg down and trying to use that leg. And for me, it was like, you know, nowhere near as bad as the injury that Ayuk has. But, you know, think about all the little things that we take for granted, right? Taking a shit and getting off the toilet. You know what I mean? Like, he has to push off, and what was he using? He's got to use that knee, or he's going to use the other one. You know what I mean? Like, getting off the couch to go do something, getting in and out of a car, all these things that people don't even think about that they take for granted. And now all of a sudden, every time you do that, it's agonizing. So yeah, man, like, a week is a long fucking time to be dealing with that, you know?
Yeah. It's tough, man. I felt for him. We got some super chats here from Sean. Thank you, Sean. I'm in my 3rd day recovering from ACL. They harvested my hammy and it banned to give me my ACL. I had a torn meniscus, but it healed on its own between June and now. If not, I would have been on crutches for 8 weeks. Damn. The more ligaments you tear, the harder it is. ACL, MCL, the main two stabilizers of the knee, anterior, medial, and meniscus. Because I had no
medial,
because I had no menis, 2 weeks crutches for Ayuk. He will have trouble cutting probably.
Here's the thing. Here's the difference. And Sean, like, sorry you had to go through that. Here's the difference. Brandon Ayuk is going to have all his shit paid for. He is going to be living in the PT room. It's not like, I've had injuries where you go in and you do PT and it's like, oh, you do PT 3 times a week. That dude's going to be doing PT and getting treatment every single day. That's going to be like his job at that point. So for professional athletes, their outcomes typically tend to be better than the average person because they have more means and more resources to be better. The biggest part of the recovery is going to be that physical therapy. You want to be able to heal that knee without having adhesion, scar tissue, loss of mobility, and things like that. The mental aspect of it is going to be the hardest thing for him, but like, dude, he's going to have like the best surgeon who has fantastic outcomes and whatever else. I'm sure physically, at least for the short term, he will be fine. Again, his age also plays a factor. I think he's 26, I believe. So being that young is going to help him as well. But yeah, we got a troll in the chat. That wasn't a hospital ball. It's actually since been discussed that Brandon Ayuk may have drifted on his route to help contribute. So
it's just unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. He had a guy up high and then he got hit low. Like, that's what happens. Yeah. So don't you have a World Series to go celebrate, dude? Why you know?
So back to this game. Obviously Kittle was the star on offense, but talk about Guerrero, 14 for 85, called upon kind of a short notice. Who stood out to you guys in this game? Offense or defense, who were the stars in your mind that maybe people didn't see first glance, if you have any?
I mean, to me, I thought Purdy did a great job in the second half of really picking up his play and settling down. Other than that, I would say Ricky Pearsall shows a lot of promise. I'm very, very excited about that. George Kittle was a stud and continues to make me look idiotic for saying that that he was washed 2 years ago. Like, he continues to make me look dumb for saying that, and I'll own that for sure. Dominic Pooney still fantastic find for the 49ers. And then defensively, I mean, Deommodore Lenoir, sweet. And Mike, my guy, he didn't get 2 picks. However, PFF had him as the highest graded person on the team, Renardo Green. And unlike Yidam, I didn't have to continuously hear his name on the broadcast. So you damn right, I like Renardo Green better.
That's right. Highest graded player by PFF after the game.
Also, Malik Mustafa's a missile.
He plays like his head's on fire.
Now that I've said everybody, what else do you guys have?
Yeah, Matt, Mike, who else is left over?
Did you say Isaac Guerrero?
I'm just doing the Zach thing where he goes, I'll go first on this one, and then steals what everybody wants to say.
I started with Guerrero, but please talk about him more.
Oh no, I won't. Yeah. I won't.
I just talked about how impressive it was to come out kind of short notice, get your number called.
Some of my favorite games of Nick Bosa are the ones that he doesn't like fill up the stat sheet. Nick Bosa was a disruptive beast this entire game, down in and down out. There was one play where I remember, like, Nick, what were you doing on that play? Like, just completely got washed out. But, I mean, that's going to happen when you're the best defensive lineman on your team and there's not a close second. So,
and he was all wrapped up on that left arm as well because of the elbow injury. So,
shout out to Bosa. I heard some of the names that Matt named on there. I also think that we should give Sam O some praise. I don't know if you guys did that or not. Yeah. He was in there, and there was another defensive tackle that made a play. I don't know if it was Anderson or like I don't know who it was. There
Elliott,
was
maybe.
Was it Elliott? So another guy on the inside. You know what it was? Like, they even asked Bosa about it and he was like, "Oh, he doesn't play inside on rundowns," but it was a run play. And it was a run play by the opposing team, but they thought it was a pass play, and that's why they put him on the inside. It may have been Elliott. It may have been Elliott, but he was like, "Oh, he doesn't play inside on rundowns, but it's good that he can go out there and contribute, right?" Like it's like if you are a pass rush specialist, and that's why we're putting you on the inside, and it ends up being a run play, and you still make a play, so much so that Nick Bosa notices it and mentions it, you're doing your damn job. Like when the bell rings and you got to answer, freaking answer. It's one play. Like, come on. If you're a rotational guy, don't fuck up the rotation, dude.
Yeah.
Puff, puff, give. Puff, puff, give. That's the rotation. Let's keep this thing moving. Like, come on, man. So the Niners, they did some things really, really well. Not that everything was cool. And the special teams as a whole, I can't believe I'm going to do this, but they weren't a disappointment this game. Not that they were good, because they didn't do anything special, but they weren't a liability.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Just be average.
Mm-hmm.
Be average.
It. Yeah.
Don't hurt us.
Minus kicking the ball out of bounds.
That part. Yeah. Other than that, illegal, whatever it's called. Yeah. Illegal procedure, I think is what the penalty is, right?
Yeah. Illegal kick. But Sin brought up a great point. This rookie class is very encouraging. And check out this class, because maybe we're a couple months removed from it. We got Pearsall with the first pick, Renardo Green with the second, Dominic Pooney with the third, Malik Mustafa with the fourth, Isaac Garendo with the fifth, Jacob Cowing with the sixth, Jarrett Kingston with the seventh, and Tatum Bethune with the eighth pick. Obviously, Kingston got cut. I think he was good enough to make the roster. I think they were hoping to get him back on the practice squad. Didn't make it, got claimed. But, I mean, there's like, 3 or 4 starters here right now, week 8 of the year.
And 5 contributors.
5 contributors playing at a really high level.
6 if you count Cowing returning kicks. I actually Cowing had a decent punt return in this game.
True.
So it was really hey, I'm gonna toss this grenade and I'm gonna close the door. Where Adam Peters and Rand Carthon holding the 49ers back.
Here's a bomb. Here's a bomb.
The one thing that I will say is that I can't be completely out on Adam Peters yet, because the Commanders are really good. So
true.
And Jaden Daniels looks like the best quarterback in that class.
Yeah.
So.
But very impressive class by the 49ers. And I posted this. It goes without saying, you're going to say no shit, genius. But hitting on draft classes extends that Super Bowl window. And the 49ers had been very light on their draft classes going back the past few years. Maybe 1 or 2 per class. You're going to need more, especially that's how you end up with the oldest roster in the NFL when it comes to average age. You're not getting enough hits year after year on your draft classes that the young guys are better or good enough to play meaningful snaps over the older guys. So very impressive by the Niners this year.
This is also how you could keep your window open, is by drafting well. And you churn through the talent. You replace the outgoing expensive talent with the younger, cheaper talent.
If I'm being honest with you guys, I think we're kind of downplaying how good this draft class is, right? Like if you got 8 picks,
8 Hall of Famers.
Well, I'm not.
Okay, I'm kidding.
That's the opposite of it, right? But it's like most GMs would be really happy if you got 8 picks in a draft class with 3 of those guys contributing.
Right.
3 on a team this loaded, maybe just 1 or 2, right? Like that's what's been the problem with the Niners the previous 2 drafts, right? It's like we have all pros at every position group on both sides of the ball. It's going to be hard to make this roster as anyone other than a special teamers, right? That's kind of what we've been cursed with. The injuries have been a blessing in disguise. And, this is our 3rd time bringing this up in this episode. Like Kyle being forced to depend on these guys on both sides of the ball, and even in special teams, like this has been the blessing in disguise, getting these guys these early reps, the experience, right? It's like all of a sudden now we see what we absolutely have in these guys, right? Like we remember how highly we thought of DJ Reed, and it was like, yeah, he's a rookie, we might be able to sneak him by, and like they tried to cut him, and it was like, sorry, we're going to take him because that guy is actually way better than what you guys thought. And so we're going to make some. We didn't have the luxury of cutting these guys. We had injuries early on the offensive line. And that's why Pooney was able to get in. It was before preseason game 1, before preseason game 2. All right, Pooney, we got to call your number just to see what you got. Oh, shit, he's actually going to be able to hold up, right? Pearsall, let's see what you got. Oh, wait a second. You're in blue jerseys. Oh, wait a second. You got shot. Now, we're just going to bury you. We'll leave you on the – sorry, that was bad after the shot thing, right? We're going to bury you on the depth chart. We're going to leave you behind. We're going to put you on IR. And then all of a sudden, here's an injury to wide receiver 1. Here's an injury to wide receiver 3. Debo's been kind of sick. So now all of a sudden you need wide receivers 3, 4, 5, and 6 to all of a sudden step up. We got something in Pearsall, right? Like, so we are being forced to acknowledge the guys that we have here because of the injuries and all. And it's like, holy shit, we actually have something here. Hufanga goes down. We don't know what Mustafa is if Hufanga's healthy. Like, it's been a blessing in disguise all the way through. The Niners have to, make some adjustments, man. I'm not saying that every single rookie should get a shot at replacing a starter that was on the team the year before, especially when that team was in the Super Bowl, right? Like, especially, I know that, what's happening here. So, like, it's just, when your team is a Super Bowl roster and you bring back 88% of that team, no rookie should be expected to do shit here. We got free agency still, where we're signing veterans who should be getting nods over rookies, right? And then you got rookies, you got the extensions and all that stuff for the people that were impending free agents on the team. Like, there's no reason that absolutely no one thought that we were going to hit on 7 of those 8 picks. No one. I don't care who you are, how optimistic you were. You didn't think that. And if you tell me that with a straight face, with your hand on the Bible, I'm still going to call you a liar. You didn't think it.
Well, what's crazy is this draft class through 6 weeks was looking good enough that even if Pearsall never played a snap, people were going to be talking about this draft class for years. It looked like it was heading that way, I should say. And then Pearsall comes in and looks great. The kid looks like he fits right in. There were some timing issues, but that will get solved with more playing time. We're going to be wrapping up here shortly. Were there any final thoughts? I see this question here. Maybe we can answer this as we start to wrap up. Do we think John Feliciano plays versus the Bucs? He's on IR. He had the knee injury, I think.
Yeah.
Hasn't been activated yet.
He's put out some, tweets and stuff. I would expect Feliciano to at least have his practice window open. I would expect Jennings to come back. Christian McCaffrey is doing like a ramp up, like a hard simulation, like training, whatever this week. If that's good to go, they're going to open his practice window up. He'll be probably be back for the Bucs game, and so on and so forth. So it looks like the rich are starting to get richer. I think that Kyle Shanahan actually said that Dre Greenlaw is pretty close to returning, which is exciting news.
Week to week after the bye.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's exciting stuff. That's absolutely fantastic. So look for that after the bye. I think that's important.
There's going to be some really, really tough cuts for the Niners. Like, they're going to have to make some moves here. You just named 4 players that are not just like guys, like they're the guys in their respective positions.
Yeah.
And
now, to be fair, it would be 3 cuts because Jennings is not on IR. He's on the active 53.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it would be 3. And if we're guessing right now, I would say,
don't do it. It's tough. It's tough.
Who's number 32? Probably gone.
Taylor.
Yeah, Patrick Taylor Jr. probably gone. I would guess.
I don't know if they get rid of Ronnie Bell.
I don't think they get rid of Ronnie Bell.
Kyle likes him.
Yeah. I would say that I don't. Again, you get rid of Patrick Taylor. You do position for position. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Can get rid of a kicker.
You can get Christian McCaffrey back. Get McCaffrey back, and then Patrick Taylor Jr. gets cut. I could see somebody like, who's not contributing at all.
Tonjes.
Yeah, like maybe one of the tight ends, and then you're looking at one of the bad linebackers.
Maybe you could get rid of a kicker because we have 2 active. If there's a positive sign for.
Lynch
Moody.
said today he expects Moody to look to be back for the Bucs game.
Right. So if that's the case,
which means that Anders Carlson and the replacement Matthew Wright will both be gone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So.
It's so funny that I forgot Patrick Taylor Jr.'s name, but I fucking remember Matthew Wright. It's just so weird the things
Well,
we remember.
It's a Matthew.
Yeah.
Thing. I get it.
Braden Willis, yes, he could probably get cut.
Again, yeah, they have fat at certain positions that you can trim to get these guys back, and I think that they constructed their roster with that in mind.
Yeah.
You know, there's also the possibility. I think did they put Hufanga on IR?
That's a good question. I think they might have. Yeah.
I mean, if they didn't, then he could go on IR because he's probably not going to be back this season.
He better be on IR.
Yeah, they did on October 9th.
Okay.
There's some,
and I think they're out of 2 returns as well. How many 2 returns do they get?
They changed that rule, so I
maybe
don't know.
it's 4 now.
Okay.
But by the way, real quick, have you guys seen the back and forth between Hufanga's agent and the reports that Hufanga wasn't going to play again this year? And Hufanga's agent put out like a statement saying that was premature, and Hufanga has 100% intentions to play again this year. And seems like there's a little bit of animosity there between whatever the source was of the Niners and Hufanga's agent. Maybe
this ain't the first time that they've had this issue with a player and injuries. Remember Jimmy Garoppolo and his agent.
Good point.
Well, but it's kind of silly and it's a moot point because I don't give a shit what your personal intentions are. We don't have to activate you and bring you back up from IR. You can have every intention of playing again. We're not obligated to bring you back up, even if you become healthy. Who gives a shit? We're leaving you on IR and your season's done. Yeah. What are you going to do? And so, like that doesn't mean anything to me. Like come on. We don't need Hufanga.
No.
It's him or Brown, not both.
No. Yeah. Ideally, Mustafa would take over that center fielder position.
Right.
He's got better ball instincts and he's more athletic anyway. You don't need 2 slow safeties. That's going to be a liability.
Bingo.
According to the AP, as of July of last year, teams can designate up to 8 players to return from IR.
That was my point. They keep changing the rules, so I don't know what it is anymore. So I have no idea.
An individual player can be so designated twice. Which Hufanga has already been designated once, right? So, but okay, let's start to wrap things up here. Is there anything else we didn't talk about that you guys want to talk about real quick?
So Mike, you want to go back to that comment with Shepard being not about Nick Tomsula and those Shanahanigans? Want to remind you of that so you can go there.
Yeah. So let me pull up the comment so I can see it again.
Got you.
Yeah. So the Nick Tomsula thing and still not sold on the Shanahan. Like there's certain things that are still happening that like don't let the win confuse you. I can't harp enough on not 1, but 2 wide open touchdown passes to the best player on their offense. And one of those touchdown passes was a result of him having an entire drive to himself. That to me, maybe not midseason, but that's a fireable offense. Maybe not during the season, but like, dude, what are you doing? Who are you confiding in? Who are your consultants? Like something has to get shaken up there. And that's what I wanted to focus on. We are so like, oh, we beat the Cowboys. Cool. It worked out for us. But what if it didn't? What's the talk around? Think about those 2 drives and then 2 other touchdowns and they end up winning this game. What's the talk then? Like, how do we let CeeDee Lamb do that to us not once but twice? How do we let CeeDee Lamb have a 70-yard drive all on his own? Right? Like, then all of a sudden the world's on fire. The Niners are at 3-5, not 4-4, and not in control of our own destiny at that point. You know what I'm saying? And so now we're at the extreme panic button. Don't be results-based. Looked at what actually did happen. That still happened in a very important game. In the second half, we should still be just as upset, alarmed, pissed off, whatever the words are about that. We should still have our antenna up. Something has to change and give on that defense. And I know we talked about it a little bit, but that's what the callback was for me.
Good point.
Yeah, I mean, offensively, I thought Shanahan did a little bit better in the second half of, again, quick hitters, utilizing play action. And there was something about it where I don't know, was he fucking bored the first half of the season? Because he was so against type. It's one thing to throw new wrinkles into your offense, right? But he was going completely away from the things that made them successful. I don't know if he was trying to test the limits of what Brock Purdy could do, but I would expect to see more quick hitters, more play action from under center, the staples that we're used to, getting the ball out in space, yak yardage, and things like that in the second half of the season. I just wonder if he was just throwing this stuff in here for like a rainy day or something and seeing if it would work. But I thought the second half went a lot more smoothly. 21 points in the third quarter is
21
and a free and easy 21 points. I mean, that was they were moving the ball at will. So obviously it's not like he just suddenly became this like shitty offensive guy. I don't know. I guess if you're an offensive genius, you just get really bored sometimes. I don't know.
It's all 3D. It's all 3D chess.
4D chess.
4D chess. Thank you.
Yeah.
60 chess. Kyle's putting shit on tape. That way, come the playoffs, teams are like, "What the fuck is this?" Whereas the Lions are using like their most intricate, complex trick plays, throwing the linemen when they're up like 47-3, wasting all of their good plays when they're winning in a blowout. That's just my personal grab for the Lions. Why the fuck are you wasting these good plays? Save this shit for the playoffs. Now, come playoffs, teams are going to have all this and all your crazy players.
Oh, we got you breaking up a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got the Wi-Fi signal. Kyle's thinking 7 steps ahead and say, I'm putting shit on tape. I don't care if I lose these early games. I'm just going to close out with this. Before the bye in 2021, they were 2-3. They went 8-4 after the bye. Before the bye in 2022, they were 4-4. They went 9-0 after the bye. Before the bye in 2023, they were 5-3. They went 7-2 after the bye. Before the bye this year, they're 4-4. Obviously, who knows what their record will be after the bye. They're not in that unfamiliar territory. It kind of seemed a little different because of how their losses came this year, but they're really not that different than how they were the last 4 years.
The importance is to not rely on that, though, and I think Mike has been one of the biggest proponents of like, yeah, just because you've been here before, this is 2024. It doesn't matter where you've been before.
Agreed.
This is this season, and so they need to take it. They do need to take it one game at a time. They need to take it seriously. I just think that, again, I believe they match up well with the Bucks, who have like a fucking horrendous defense. Their defense is trash.
2 big injuries.
Yeah, I think they line up well against the Seattle Seahawks too. So now you're looking at potentially a 6-4 team, and then maybe we're speaking a little differently, but they've got to stack these positive wins on top of each other and not do the thing of like, look where we were. Take it one game at a time. They're going to Tampa Bay. Like, that's a cross country flight. It is off of rest. You should come out off of the bye week looking good. And then you get to come back home and host Seattle. So no excuse for them to like really not win those 2 games. You know what I mean? So
we haven't won back-to-back games all season, to my knowledge.
Nope, we haven't.
So I'm going to be cautious with that as well. And I'm just one of these people. I just refuse to be results-based. Like I see the results. Cool, step in the right direction, but this special teams is still a problem. Now, the Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken, did have like the best or the highest ranked special teams, and we kind of nullified them. Cool, step in the right direction, but we've seen really, really positive plays in every single game from the special teams, and then they whiff later on, which is what has us pulling our hair out, right? And to Zach's point about the Lions versus Kyle's, play calling and all that stuff, I just seriously wonder what makes the opposing teams think more. Wow, we've seen you do 58 different types of offensive plays with each down and distance versus, oh, this is new, but okay, you got us with this one play. What if that one play that you tried didn't work, right? At least the Lions can say, we've done it in a real game. We know we can do it again because we've been successful. I don't know which side of that I fall on, because I do go back and forth about that a lot. Like Kyle's saving it for later. He's saving it for later.
I think okay, let's go back to Monday night when the Giants did that weird formation trying to get the 2-point play where they had the linemen.
linemen.
Yeah. If it was some trick play like that, then the team can say, I at least know what they're planning on doing because I've seen this before. Just like DeAndre Lenore, where he said he baited Dak. I've seen this formation. I know that sprint out. I'm trying to get him to throw this pass because I know that's where he wants to go. Now, will the Lions use it to their advantage and run a different play off of that formation? Sure. But they're still putting all of these trick plays out there that could have been used for the first time in a playoff game. Instead, now they already have that on film and the team is prepared for it or can be prepared for it. Whether they will or not, that remains to be seen. But I just think it's dumb. If you're going to use that, use it in a game that's close, using the game that you need to win. Instead, they use it when they're up against the Cowboys and when they were up against whoever the fuck they just played that they beat up really badly. So I don't get it. I think save it for a rainy day. Save it for when you need it. But we'll wrap up there because it's getting late. The Vikings.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. Mike, please let the folks know where to find you. I'm sure they already know, but
2 places I want to send people right now. Patreon.com/NB9ERS. You see it right there. And then 49ers Hive is right under Zach. Make sure you guys are following on their YouTube page. Subscribe. I swear if you guys aren't subscribed, I'm unsubscribing from your channel.
It's right under the Halloween spider right here dropping down.
There you go.
Have a happy Halloween, everybody. Go subscribe, patreon.com/NB9ERS. Matt, take us home.
Absolutely. Listen, we'll be back here with the 49ers Bucks game preview next week. So until then, enjoy stress-free 7 hours of commercial-free football on Sunday. Get your fantasy lineups in tune. There's no reason not to. You don't got to worry about anything else. Just make sure there's no 49ers in your lineup for this week. Thank you guys for joining us here. I know we were a little late, but Sunday night football is a little rough for all of us out here on the West Coast, particularly Mike on the East Coast. I think the game ended for you, like 11:30 at night? Yeah, so pretty late. But good news is there'll be, I think, the 10 a.m. window next week. So
Tampa.
Get the game out of the way early. Thank you so much. Enjoy your Halloween, everybody, for all those with kids and everything like that. Enjoy it, trick or treat, everything like that. For Zach, for Mike, for myself, thank you as always for joining us. We love having you here. And until next time, go Niners.